Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a book that honestly shook things up quite a bit. Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah, it really did. It became this sort of blueprint for getting out of the typical 9 to 5.
Exactly. And with everyone talking about escaping 9 to 5 these days and all the debate around remote work, it feels incredibly relevant still.
Absolutely. It's not just about piling up cash, is it? It redefines wealth, makes it about, time, mobility.
Designing a life with actual freedom. That's the promise.
And what I find fascinating, even now in 2025, is how he tackles retirement. It's not this thing you wait decades for.
Right. He talks about mini retirements, taking chunks of time off now.
Yeah, funded by smart systems. It challenges that whole deferred life plan.
Yeah.
You don't need the gold watch to actually live.
So, okay, for someone listening, maybe feeling stuck, wanting that different path, where do you even start with Ferriss's idea? He has that framework, right? Deal.
Yeah, it's it, deal. And it kicks off with D for definition.
Definition. Okay, what does that actually mean in practice? Is it just like wishful thinking?
No, it's more concrete than that. It's about setting really bold, specific lifestyle goals, not just, I want more money.
So more like, I want to work 10 hours a week from, I don't know, Thailand?
Exactly, or something like that. It forces you to ask, what does your ideal life actually look like? Forget the standard societal script for a minute. Define your rich life.
Okay, defining it. Then comes E, which is elimination. That sounds appealing.
Oh, yeah. This is where the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, comes in hard.
Right. The idea that, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts?
Precisely. So you ruthlessly identify those high-impact 20% activities and focus there. And just as importantly, you cut out the rest.
How, though, practically?
Well, think about batching tasks, like checking email only twice a day instead of every 5 minutes. Or getting really comfortable saying no to meetings that don't actually move the needle.
Declining meetings. Brave. But yeah, creating space. Okay, so you define, you eliminate. Then A is for automation. This is the juicy part for many, I think.
Definitely. Automation is where you build what Ferriss calls a muse.
I'm a muse.
Yeah, basically a low-maintenance automated business designed to generate income without needing your constant attention. Passive income, essentially.
He used his supplement business as an example, didn't he? Using things like dropshipping.
Exactly. Dropshipping is a classic example,
Yeah.
selling products you don't physically stock. The supplier handles it. The idea is to build a system that works for you.
It makes you really think about your own value, too. Like, what do I uniquely need to do versus what can a system handle?
That's a huge part of it. And linked to that is outsourcing, delegating tasks.
Right, using virtual assistants, maybe from platforms like Upwork, for the repetitive stuff.
Yep. Email, scheduling, research, whatever eats time but doesn't require your core skills. It's like buying back your time.
Okay, so define, eliminate, automate. Which brings us to L, liberation, the end goal.
Liberation. This is achieving that location independence, maybe negotiating remote work, proving you can be productive from anywhere.
Or having that muse business running so you can be anywhere.
Right. And this ties back to those mini retirements. Instead of waiting till 65, you take, say, a month off every year to travel or pursue a passion, funded by your automated income.
Living life in chapters, not just waiting for the epilogue. I like that.
It fundamentally changes your perspective.
But let's be real, making these kinds of jumps, quitting a job, starting something new that involves facing some serious fear.
Oh, absolutely. And Ferriss doesn't ignore that.
Yeah.
He gives you tools, like fear setting.
Ah, yes, fear setting. I find that one really powerful. Explain that a bit.
It's basically an exercise to get your fears out of your head and onto paper. You define the absolute worst-case scenario if you take the leap.
Okay.
Then you figure out, realistically, how likely is that worst case. And crucially, what could you do to prevent it or repair the damage if it did happen?
So like if you quit your job, calculate the actual money you'd need for 6 months, plan how you'd get another job if needed, making the fear concrete.
Exactly. It often shows you the downside is manageable, not catastrophic. It defangs the fear.
And he also talks about testing ideas, right? Not betting the farm immediately.
Yeah. Launching small experiments first. A simple website, a small ad campaign. Validate the idea with minimal risk before you pour resources in. Fail fast, fail cheap.
Makes sense. Now, thinking about 2025, some of this feels maybe a bit dated. Like, is starting a simple muse as easy now with so much online competition?
That's a fair critique, definitely. Yeah. The specific tactics, like maybe a super simple dropshipping muse for supplements, yeah, that's way more competitive now. The landscape's changed.
So the principles hold up, but the methods need updating.
I think so. The core ideas, valuing time over just money, leveraging technology, questioning the 9-to-5 structure, those are arguably more relevant with digital nomads, remote work debates, all that. The spirit of the book is alive and well.
It's about adapting the how, not ditching the why.
Well put.
You know, speaking of applying it, I actually tried the 80-20 thing with my own workflow recently for content creation.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Surprisingly well. I analyzed what parts of, say, video editing actually led to the most audience engagement, the 80% of the result.
Yeah.
And I focused my time there, cutting back on the fiddly bits that took ages but didn't add much. Saved a ton of time.
See, it works. Small shifts, big impact.
It really drove home that these aren't just abstract concepts.
Definitely not. And really, this whole deep dive into the 4-hour work week is kind of a call to action, isn't it?
Yeah, to consciously design your work around your life, not the other way around, using the tools we have now.
To actually live where you want, how you want.
So thinking about all this, the challenge to you listening is, what's one small step you could take, maybe this week, to start designing your dream lifestyle based on some of these ideas?
Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear your plans.
And of course, subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss our next deep dive into the ideas shaping our world.